Toyota GR Yaris GPF Delete. This is an additional item for people that maybe want a bit more noise and some small power gains over an OPF back exhaust. Removing the OPF or GPF or the secondary cat for Australian spec cars will definitely make the exhaust louder. The OPF is quite restrictive and will free up a few horsepower. Not many. We don't have any kind of dyno printouts to back that up. One of the reasons behind that is that the GR Yaris is notoriously hard to dyno. And the other is that we simply don't need to. The more exhaust restrictions you remove, the more free-flowing the exhaust will get, the more power the engine can make. So again, we're not talking about big chunks of horsepower, but all these little gains do add up. So it's fully mandrel bent, TIG welded as you would expect from us, fully compatible with the OE cat and with the OE cat back or OPF back. So on the stock exhaust setup, the cat hangs off the turbo, really small cat, and then on the end of that is what we call the OPF pipe. Now for our aftermarket version, we've split it into two. So we've got the flange section, which goes onto the original graphite gasket, little graphite cone seal gasket. That bolts onto the cat, and then our OPF pipe slips inside there. The reason we've done it in two like this is so that in the future, if we have any customers that want to upgrade to a D-cat, we can go to a D-cat with a full 3-inch bore joint. The stock cat has a really small joint. It's about 55 millimeters from memory, so it is quite restrictive in terms of flow. So by removing that joint, we're really opening up the exhaust. And I'd be surprised if anybody ever really wants to remove the cat for a D-cat and keep the secondary OPF in place. It's not the most common choice, I don't think. So that's the reason we've gone to doing it that way. That way the OPF pipe is fully compatible with the stock exhaust and compatible with our own downpipe as well. We've got two O2 sensor bosses in here. The reason for that is this is where the original O2 sensor boss is. So this is the one that's checking that the primary cat is doing a good job. So the computer is constantly looking for how clean the exhaust gas is, and it'll know if you've removed the cat, but it won't know if you've removed the OPF pipe because there's no sensor after the OPF. We add a secondary boss in here, and this is purely for if we ever add a sports cat in here. If we add a sports cat in here, we can move the secondary sensor down to here, and that should stop us getting the check engine light, which most people won't really want if they go into the cost of having a sports cat. It keeps the car legal and emissions friendly, and even though the cat is more free-flowing, by putting this sensor in here, we'll keep that light off the dashboard. We've got TIG welded hanger brackets on, again as per usual really, with our hanger bullets to keep the bushes nicely located, all fully machined. These are nice stainless steel items that are machined and then welded on the end of the bent hanger bars. And then on the end we've got the 2-bolt flange that suits the OE catback or our own catback exhausts. It should be suitable for all other aftermarket exhausts as well, and we supply a gasket for that along with the nuts and bolts to go with it. So again, stainless steel bolts and washers and copper nuts. So the adapter for the OE cat is quite a specific fit. So it has a graphite cone flange, and we then form a cone which fits that, and we can weld that to the inside of a flange. We don't need to weld all the way around because the gas seal actually takes place inside here. The reason we don't weld all the way around there is we don't want to induce any warpage into this flange that we don't need to. We don't need to weld all the way around there, so we don't. So it's perfectly normal that it looks like that. All these kind of bolt holes are doing is holding that pipe up there onto that graphite cone. Fully TIG welded and back purged. Again, you can see the nice weld showing through onto the inside, just the same as the outside. And then we include a Michelor stainless steel clamp for that section as well. So that just makes it nice and easy to fit. So we offer this with no cat, with a sports cat, 300 cell cat, which is emissions compliant. A few people will question why we offer this with a Cat, and it's mainly because if you remove the downpipe, the most sensible place to put the Cat is a little bit further down the car. You'd want to put it a bit further down the car because then it remains as as free flowing as possible. To put it further up the car would be a compromise. This is about as early as we can fit the Cat before we end up having to compromise on the size and shape of where it fits. So this is the best location for the Cat, and then we also offer a silencer that can fit where a Cat would go as well. For people that maybe don't want a Cat but don't want the kind of extra noise that will come with a downpipe and an OPF delete. And then some people may just choose to remove the OPF and have a Cat there in place. So they get the kind of performance benefits of the OPF delete while leaving the primary Cat in place, but have a small silencer in there to try and knock out a few of those decibels that we'll gain through removing that OPF.